This is Piazza Castello in the heart of Turin, and once you get past the fact that this is the home of Fiat motor cars, you understand that this city is about much more than just manufacturing. It's about history, art, culture, and style. And Turin, Torino, whatever you want to call it, shares one thing in common with every other Italian city. It's an original, and there's no dancing around that. The Italian job for Federica Faiella and Massimo Scali is to step up at home. For Americans Meryl Davis and Charlie White, the task in Turin is to stay close in the original dance. For the Olympic champions from Canada, it's time to shine in northern Italy. Tessa Virtue and Scott Moir, La Dolce Vita at Palavella. This is Championship Figure Skating on CBC, presented by Artistry. Olympic gold medalists in the ice dance, Tessa Virtue and Scott Moir of London and Ilderton, Ontario, on the ice at Palavella in Turin, Italy, as they continue their chase for a gold medal at the World Figure Skating Championships in 2010. Hi everybody, welcome inside the Palavella. Scott Russell along with Tracy Wilson and Kurt Browning. Today, the second portion of the dance competition. It's the OD, the original dance. Always a great theme, and what is it this year, Tracy?
Well, this year it's the same as at the Olympics. It's a folk theme, and so a tremendous amount of variety in the original dance, as you saw at the Olympic Games. Incidentally, though, I do have to say this matchy-matchy, it happened by accident. We're not pretending we're a dance team. No flamenco today.
No, not today.
But flamenco's on the ice. Of course, Virtue and Moir will be doing their flamenco, as well as Crone and Poirier. We have cowboy theme, the Western theme, and Italian, tarantella at home. So a lot of variety and a lot of fun.
What about the personalities, Kurt? Tessa Virtue and Scott Moir won the gold medal in Vancouver.
Yay!
It was Meryl Davis and Charlie White of the United States, the silver. Very close, but they've kind of set themselves apart from the rest of the field, haven't they?
Well, I think it's truly the skating that did that, but the personalities are so important. And when it comes to the flamenco, Scott reigns. The guy suits it so well, and I think Tessa's challenge was to come up to Scott's level, which I think she did very nicely. I'm looking forward to the French team. They have a quirky style always, and I think they're going to apply that to the Western number that they have. Charlie and Meryl from the United States, they have an Indian theme, an East Indian theme. The biggest challenge, I think, was to make that come across on the ice, and I think they did it very well. And you mentioned something about YouTube, how many hits they got.
Well, we were talking about this, Scott. Almost 500,000 hits on YouTube.
Very cool.
For Meryl and Charlie. Most of the hits coming from India. And so they're very, very popular, have a big following there because their theme, the Indian dance, was so authentic and so catchy.
Always fireworks in the original dance. There is another Canadian dance team in the competition. With more on them, here's Brenda Irving.
Scott, last year's World Championships were the first for Vanessa, Crone and Poirier. They had a great result. They finished in 12th place. Last year they said there were no expectations on them. This year, though, they said there certainly are, but they responded brilliantly with a great compulsory dance. They right now sit in 9th place heading into the original dance. A top 10 finish for them would be great, not only for them personally, but also for Skate Canada, because that would mean 3 more spots to next year's World Championships instead of the 2 they currently have. But to get into the top 10, they have to have a better original dance than they did at the Olympic Games. They struggled with the twizzles, and that cost them some valuable points.
Thanks very much, PJ. Here's the start order for the original dance. Leading off, the Kerrs, Sinead and John of Great Britain, to be followed by Canada's Vanessa, Crone and Poirier. Olympic champions Tessa Virtue and Scott Moir have the lead. We'll also see the American youngsters Emily Samuelson and Evan Bates. Traditional Highland costume for Sinead and John Kerr of Edinburgh. She's 31, he's 29. After the compulsory dance, they stand in 6th place with 37.56 points, but well within reach of a better placing.
you remember watching them at the Olympics, they skated to a country theme. This is a program from seasons past, and they wanted to end this season with a tribute to their heritage.
And with a quick twizzle, all secrets will be revealed as to what's under the kilt. Bicycle shorts.
Twizzles, one of the required elements in the original dance. Also 2 step sequences and a lift.
Crowd at Palavella, 7th time Kerr and Kerr have appeared together at the World Championships.
I like the fact that on the step sequence, they're picking up the speed, the tempo, and keeping the rhythm of the music, and the audience has responded now, clapping along. Much more difficult doing the footwork sequences to the faster music, harder to hit the clean turns. Much more effective though for the audience.
All the way from Scotland, maybe they're taking the high road into contention. Sinead and John Kerr of Great Britain. And here are the marks for Sinead and John Kerr of Great Britain in the original dance. 58.23, that's a high water mark for them this season. Combine that with the compulsory dance, and the skaters from Great Britain are in first place. Teenagers from Canada representing the Scarborough Figure Skating Club, Vanessa, Crone and Poirier. And an important skate on their journey at these World Championships. Canada is very strong in the ice dance, and depending on how they finish this competition, perhaps there could be 3 Canadian duos at the next World Championships.
Of confidence from their compulsory, which put them into 9th place, but it is very, very close between 7th and 11th, about 1.5 points separating those teams. Always a highlight in their ODs, their midline step sequence, both very, very strong single skaters, and look at the power they take into the edges as they weave across the ice. Lovely use of the lilt in the skating knee. difficult entry into the twizzle. Coming right out of the choreography with very little time to set up. Exceptional flow and big, bold curves in this diagonal step sequence, another required element.
For me, the biggest area of improvement with this team is on Paul's side, his way, his mannerisms, and before I think he was trying so hard, it was like a movie set, it looks good until you lean on it. But now it's the real thing.
They were 14th at their first Olympics in Vancouver. Vanessa Crone and Paul Poirier trying to move up after a 12th place finish at the last World Championships in Los Angeles. Back over the boards, Vanessa Crone and Paul Poirier and their original dance.
Well, they talked about how close it is among the teams that they're battling between 7th and 11th. In 9th now, they're ranked in this field about 11th in the OD. But Kurt, I agreed with you in the fact that their presentation, which has sort of been missing this year, really came out strongly in this interpretation.
They're teenagers, so they're talented skaters, but now I'm starting to believe more deeply into the fact that they're just standing at center ice waiting for the music to start with a real serious level of concentration and confidence, not pretending, they just are. That's a big difference.
The coach is Carol Lane, who tutors Vanessa Crone and Paul Poirier along with John Lane and Yuri Razgulev. Here is their original dance score. At the Palavella, 55.76 in the OD.
And that's up dramatically 5 points over their season's best. That is awesome.
89.08 puts Crone and Poirier second for Canada. The Olympic silver medalists, coached by Marina Zueva and Igor Spielband, Meryl Davis and Charlie White of the United States, and they figure to challenge Virtue Moir for the gold medal at these World Championships all the way. And we talked about their very interesting approach to the original dance.
And they've gone to great lengths to study this dance to ensure its authenticity, starting with the sideways twinkle out of the eye. As you watch the midline step sequence, note the use of the arm movements, the details, right down to the fingertips, and always musical. This team is exquisite in their interpretation of any piece of music they express.
signature move there. I love it when you can't quite figure out immediately how a team got to a position. It's sort of a mystery. And you must admit that the look that Meryl has with this theme of music and movement suits her. And Charlie's pretty handsome too.
Recklessly throwing themselves into the twizzle, keeping the unison.
Clean, crisp. Very good.
They are from the American Midwest, but a little taste of the East for Meryl Dace and Charlie White of the United States. Hugs all around from their coaches Igor Spielban, Marina Zueva, Meryl Davis, and Charlie White in the original dance.
And there's the sideways twinkle out of the eye. Meryl said that's a very important nuance in the dance. And they really worked the music to the limits, Kurt. A lot of variety, didn't miss a note.
Well, what I like about this, and I mentioned it earlier, is the risk. You cannot go out there with this kind of music and not be authentic. I skated a short program to this style of music and got so many responses to the few moves that Brian Power did off the top that were authentic. You can't slough around and not be right, and they did a good job.
And these two are such intimidating competitors because, as you alluded to the fact, Kurt, it was clean and crisp. They are always on. Here, the Twizzles threw themselves into it. You can only do that with good training.
Meryl and Charlie have all the ability in the world to make a move in the original dance. And house quiets down at Palavella as they await the results, and great score, 69.29 for Davis and White of the United States, and that puts them in first place.
And they had the top level scores across the board. They took this program to a new height. Pressure now on Virtue and Moir.
Now let's go down to Brenda Irving backstage.
Well, Vanessa and Paul felt there was some room to grow after their performance in the original dance at the Olympic Games. Here at the World Championships, you respond with the season's best. I know you worked hard on that. It looks like that hard work obviously paid off.
Definitely. I mean, after the Olympics, the OD wasn't our strongest point at the Olympics, so we definitely made a point of when we got back to really improve on that and get those key points and fine points polished, so that when we came here today, we did it just like we just did.
Well, the two of you were telling me there wasn't very much pressure on you last year, your first World Championships. This year, a different story. How have you been able to take that pressure and make the most out of it and transform it into something positive?
It's definitely, I think it's been a little bit harder with that bit of pressure and expectation put on us, but at the same time it really allows us to grow because it's a motivation for us. You know, we didn't get the results we wanted completely at the Olympic Games. There's definitely room to grow, and we use that again as motivation just to really try and focus and improve in these last few weeks of the season.
Good luck in the free dance.
Thank you very much.
Bringing down the house, Federica Faiella and Massimo Scali of Italy. Third after the compulsory dance, and right there in terms of contention.
It's interesting to me that they have not reached out to this audience that's ready to pop the roof off this place during the 5-minute warm-up, during their steps. They have kept very internal. To me, I would be going for this audience. But maybe they feel the pressure of being so close to the podium.
And this is a team that's known to make mistakes, so their focus is very important here. Performing an Italian pizzicata tarantella. when I mention that this is a team that is known to make mistakes, it's often in my mind because they sell a program too hard. He wears his heart on his sleeve, and sometimes they get caught up with that and then lose the technical details. They're skating very well here, though. Appear to have found the balance. Now he's touched down there in the twizzle. That doesn't look like a big mistake, but that could hurt them drastically in the marks.
Fifth at the Olympics in Vancouver. They've got a friendly crowd to dance in front of at the Palavella in Turin.
And the audience loved this dance. What they probably did not pick up, though, on the second twizzle, his free leg touched down just as he started it. That can drop the technical requirement from a level 4 to a level 1, leaving valuable points on the table. Audience loved it.
To the right is Nathalie, the 1980 gold medalist in Lake Placid, New York in the ice dance. Federica Faiella and Massimo Scali hoping they don't pay the price here. Original dance score of 59.16, below their season's best.
A couple points below their season's best. Twizzles dropping from a level 4 to a level 1, and we'll see how that affects them in the order because there's a lot of good teams still to skate.
Right now they're behind Davis and White of USA.
Well, to win a world championship, you can't hold back, and Meryl and Charlie certainly didn't do that today. It seems like the message there was be confident, be aggressive.
Exactly. You know, there's no reason for us not to come into the World Championships confidently, and we felt that way today. It was a great performance for us, and we feel really good about it.
Look ahead to the free dance. Do you think the same sort of level of improvement, another season's best, is possible and necessary to win the World Championship?
Well, first of all, it's definitely going to be necessary to win the World Championship. We know we're up against a really tough opponent in Scott and Tessa, but, you know, each competition we've seen ourselves grow, you know, with higher scores and, you know, better understanding for the program. So I think coming into Worlds, we definitely felt that.
Good luck in the free dance.
Thank you very much.
Representing France, and they figured a challenge for a medal at these World Championships. 26-year-old Nathalie Pechalat and 29-year-old Fabian Bourzat. They are both from Lyon, but they now train in Moscow with Alexander Zulin.
Well, they are 3 points out of that bronze medal position, and we saw the Italians lose those 3 points on the twizzle. And it just doesn't get more charming than this.
Thank God I'm a country boy. Well, a simple kind of life never did me no harm. They raised me a family working on the farm. My days are all filled with an easy country charm. Thank God I'm a country boy. Well, I got me a fine life, I got me old cities and the sun's coming up.
Oh, impressive speed here in their midline step sequence. Watch the extension of their free leg, the leg off the ice.
They remind me of cartoon versions of ice skaters out there with those costumes on. I think in my hometown of Caroline, Alberta, if he walked into the Long Branch Saloon, he'd get kicked out, but I'm pretty sure they'd let her stay.
I know you would.
Technically very strong. I like their deep edges here. I also like the matching unison of their free legs. They too, though, are known to take risks and make mistakes. Their twizzles will be the next element, and though twizzles are not that difficult, they're really finicky. And when you try to do them in unison and you're a little bit nervous, that's the thing that goes south. Let's watch.
Well, twizzlers are not hard when you're doing them the way you like to turn, but you have to turn both ways. And that's when it gets really tough. Here we go. And a little off.
Through the first set, and oh, and he did.
Completely fell off his blade.
You know, it's the mind that just goes, careful, careful, before you know it.
You got to stay in those twizzles for the full 8 seconds. That's a rodeo reference, people.
Oh.
Looks like it's going to be close for the medals all the way around. Nathalie Pechalat and Fabian Bourzat got deep into their program before a slight mistake. We'll return to Palavella and the World Championships in just a moment. Pechalat, Fabian Bourzat were 6th at the Olympics in Vancouver, 5th at the last Worlds in LA. They are always so close, it seems, but there's always a little bit of a problem. 58.55 in the original dance. When you combine that with their compulsory score, 96.3 third.
Were it not for a fizzle twizzle, they would be sitting in second.
In ice dance, Tracy Wilson and Rob McCall led the way for Canada in the mid-'80s. Quick steps and creative moves made their skating look effortless. But it was hard work and dedication that led the team to the world podium in 1986 as the bronze medalists. Their success continued as they won bronze again in 1987 and 88. Picking up where Wilson and McCall left off were the team of Shaylin Bourne and Victor Kratz. This electrifying duo won world bronze 4 years in a row, beginning in 1996. Then came a world silver medal in 2002 and finally, in 2003, gold, making them the only Canadian team to date to be crowned world champions. Canada's next world podium success was Montreal's Marie-France Dubreuil and Patrice Lauzon. The husband and wife team were elegant skaters whose grace and style won them the world silver medals in 2006 and 2007.
From the vault, brought to you by Rhine-Eris, your nose relief.
Such great lineage in the Canadian ice dance. A member of that sitting right beside me, Tracy Wilson, here at the Palavella, along with Kurt Browning, and here are Tessa Virtue and Scott Moir, the Olympic gold medalists.
Technically the most complex choreography, very, very risky. No room for error.
Well, how do you compete with that? They're getting used to being champions. The original dance of Tessa Virtue and Scott Moir, the Olympic gold medalists from Canada, here at Palavella.
And what an impressive performance once again. Incredible risk technically in this original dance. At the beginning of the season, Kurt, I thought perhaps it's over-choreographed. There was so much in it. Not today. They handled it effortlessly.
And now, with Igor Spielban and Marina Zueva, who also coach Meryl Davis and Charlie White in Canton, Michigan, another look at the original dance of Virtue Moir.
And credit has to go to Marina and Igor for their wonderful work with both team and the choreography, Kurt, of this exquisite dance.
Well, what hit me so strong in this event was the folk theme brought out a lot of fun and quirky attitudes from different countries, and then this serious, super deadly, sexy, serious number comes out, and you could feel the intensity whoosh, just change. And I think that it suited them well to be put in that juxtaposition with all the other dances.
I agree with you. And what I find so wonderful about these two, every detail, but the level of sophistication with the line. Look at the line there, from the point of her toe up to the tips of his fingertips, arched back, beautiful long necks. They have no weakness. The concern here will be about the levels. If they get their levels, they should be fine. Davis and White have the highest score this season at 69.
Yep, well, they needed a 68-42 to lead, and they got that and more. 70.27, highest original dance ever for Tessa Virtue and Scott Moir, and that puts them squarely into first place. As it is in Canada, there is great depth in the ice dance in the United States, and plenty of youth is involved. Here are 19-year-old Emily Samuelson and 21-year-old Evan Bates. They train in Ann Arbor, Michigan.
And this is a piece of music that Emily and Evan chose. They're playing to their roots and skating to the Dixie Chicks.
Right away, I like his shaps better.
This is their circular step sequence, and they get some of the highest points in the competition. They've got beautiful long legs and pointed toes. They take full advantage of that. Very easy to like. Judges love this.
Very on the music, that whole circle step. Pay attention to these two. A wonderful rivalry is brewing between Emily and Evan and Vanessa and Paul of Canada. In the 08 Junior Worlds, Evan and Emily beat Vanessa and Paul by one placing, winning the Junior Worlds. Until now, it has been always one or two placings away from each other in the competition. In the future, it'll be a lot of fun to watch to see who comes out on top.
Twizzles here. And well done. And hey, Kurt, playing on your theme, no surprise, they're 1 point behind and one place behind Crone and Poirier in 10th after the compulsory dance.
2008 World Junior Champions, as Kurt mentioned, Emily Samuelson and Evan Bates of the United States. Emily Samuelson and Evan Bates, along with Coach Yuri Chesnichenko, and their scores in the original dance, 52.79, and that will leave them in 8th place right now.
Not getting full credit for the levels on their step sequence in this program.
Tracy, it opens things up a bit. Samuelson Bates 11th after the second stage of the dance competition. Tessa Virtue and Scott Moir continue to set new standards. A world record OD has them ahead of Davis and White. Faiella and Scali of Italy 3rd. More good news for Canada. Teenagers Vanessa, Crone and Poirier holding a top 10 placing, heading to the free dance in 8th. Here's Brenda Irving with the leaders.
Well, a little bit of deja vu for the Olympics. Meryl Davis, Charlie White, Tessa Virtue, Scott Moir right now sitting 1-2 in the standings after the original dance. Did you think it was going to take a season best score to maintain the lead from the compulsories?
Well, we knew we had to skate our best tonight. Meryl and Charlie always perform extremely well. We train with them, so we see how hard they work and how they can deliver that, especially that OD. But we are really pleased with our performance. I think certain aspects were better than Olympics, especially technically. I think it was a stronger skate, so we're thrilled with that, and what a way to end it.
Well, one of the highlights from the Olympic Games was your free dance. Are you going to have to do even better than that here at these Worlds to win the world title?
Well, we love skating this free dance, so it is going to take a great skate tomorrow, but, you know, we've been doing a lot of those in the last couple months, so we're very confident in that we can do that, and we're so excited to just get one more shot to compete our favorite program ever.
Looking forward to watching it.
Thank you.